It doesn't seem like a month since I did my last newsletter, but we're back into a schedule. Thank you to Bianca Devlin, who has a fantastic social media practice, who is supporting everything that I do across all of my platforms. So just a big shout out to Bianca. And none of this would be possible without my magnificent assistant right hand, Claire Dalton. So I just want to shout out to both of you. I wanted to talk today about the talent shortage, because when it comes to salespeople, we know that there's not only a lack of warm bodies, but when we find those warm bodies, they often don't come ready-made with the skills that we need them to have. And when we look at the last maybe 20 years of, two generations of employees, they've not only never lived through challenging economic times, but they haven't also lived in an environment where there's multiple things happening all at the same time. And that creates a really big issue for sales leaders, for the most part, who are also in that category of never having to lead through these challenging times. So one of the things that will be critical, and I base this on not only some investigation that I've done around the emerging generations in workforces, but also from having conversations with people in other spaces, like HR and IT and AI, that they're talking about the importance of communication in the workforce. Because if leaders aren't able to connect with each individual in their teams, they're not going to actually be able to connect to that person's personal purpose, and through that connect them back to the organization. And without that, where we run the risk of losing them again, just as we've got them. And certainly if we're investing in their development, we want to maximize the return on that investment, from an organizational perspective and from a team perspective as well. The surprising thing that I was just told, I just came off a conversation with an HR expert, and she was telling me about the emergence of Gen Z. And she was talking about some of the concerns that they have, which actually surprised me. She was saying that job security is a big concern for them with the rise of AI. And so again, making sure as leaders that we're just ensuring that that's a big part of the talking point, a big part of the conversation that we're having with our team members. The other thing too is getting connected to their personal meaning and purpose. I talk a lot in my Mutual Mattering ebook about the importance of organizational purpose and connecting people back to purpose and helping them to belong. But within that is a very personal purpose. And once we understand that within each of our team members, then we're able to connect them back to how we as an organization can help them to realize that purpose. The other thing too was about connection with one another, and friendships are critical. That's challenging when we've got the hybrid workplace that is going nowhere anytime soon. The genie is well and truly out of the bottle there. But so again, as sales leaders, I urge you to be creating opportunities for people to come together and for you to be fostering deeper levels of relationships. Because one of the things that I just read in Forbes about Gen Z was the fact that they were saying that without friendships at work can just feel transactional. And when anything feels transactional, there's really no loyalty there, is there? We talk about that with customers all the time, why it's important to get away from product and price and into, connecting them to what their real drivers are at work and personally, and then, helping to connect the dots between what it is that we provide and how that helps them to do those things. Same with our team members. So, again, how are we helping to foster those deeper levels of relationships? Training is a great opportunity to bring people together, to work with one another in certain ways, and to see a different side to their colleagues that they might not otherwise see. creating social interactions with within teams and across teams. And again, also just allowing people to catch up for coffees. Not all day long, obviously, at the expense of productivity, but it's a part of productivity. And again, for us to understand how that relates back to them. The other thing about coming back to Gen Z here was that they're driven by the opportunities for training and development for themselves. So if we're not investing in training and development, whether that's from a sales perspective, a communication perspective, a leadership perspective, we're really missing out on an opportunity to really create deeply engaged team members. Deeply engaged team members are highly productive team members. And when we've got an individual or per capita reduction in productivity, that's a concern. And it's something that we as individuals, as leaders, can really affect. The other thing I wanted to say here too was just in terms of things that we can do today, like as soon as this video finishes, what you can go out there and start to put into practice is connecting to each person within your team. Now, I talk about that from a team evaluation perspective. So my clients will be all like, we know, but, understanding what makes someone tick, really getting inside of that, being curious about who they really are, not only at work, but outside of work, how others see them, how they show up in different parts of their lives, understanding what their goals are at work and putting together, what they'd like to achieve by when, and what your role might be in helping them to achieve those goals. When you help someone achieve a goal, you become one of those memorable people in their lives. I go right back to when I started at the Body Shop all those years ago as a young graduate from uni. And my first leader, Jane Compton, was somebody who gave me opportunity, but also didn't throw me in without supporting my development in the process. They're lessons that I've taken with me throughout whatever I've done. And she's always, in my mind, and she's never far from my thoughts, actually, because everything seems to go back to her and those opportunities and belief that she gave. Well, she breathed that belief into me and gave me opportunities at an incredibly young age that, really changed the course of my life and my career. So if anyone knows Jane, please pass on to her that, or sees her today, that I'm incredibly grateful. Okay, a couple of little shout outs here. I've got an ebook coming. There'll be a big launch for that. It's called Mutual Mattering, which is a fundamental business philosophy that I would like to share with everyone here. I talked about the online program that gives everyone greater flexibility. The first program, and it won't be the last, is all about account managers that have got a level of experience and are looking for that next gear. What do they need to do in order to really stand out, to be looked at for promotional opportunities, or to look at in terms of their own career trajectory and where they want to go next, how to get noticed and how to make that matter for all the right reasons, obviously. My podcast, The Sales Revolution, will be launched in the new year. I'm currently interviewing my guests, and I have a fantastic lineup. I'm so grateful. And it's a slightly different take. There'll be some one-on-one interviews, but a lot of the interviews I'll be doing will be around the impact of certain initiatives that sort of focus on the magnetic organization concept and the mutual mattering principles. And I'm also knees deep in my book at the moment, which is also called The Sales Revolution. So look out for that. That's probably not going to be launched until mid next year, I would say. So depending on publishers and timeframes and all those sorts of things. So anyway, we're coming to the pointy end of this calendar year. That means that we haven't really got that many selling days left. So I would urge everyone not to just be looking at the countdown to the end of the year, but looking to the countdown to the end of March, knowing that the end of March will be Easter. And when Easter comes, there's, that's usually April-ish, but it's 29th of March from what I look when I checked yesterday. So we've only got limited selling days really until then. January is a challenge. So that leaves February and March. And we've got some of December out too. So you've just got to be mindful of those things and determine where we need to be by, for what is for many of us the end of the third selling quarter, which is March. So, I don't say that to frighten anyone. I just say that to crystallize your focus on the action that you need to take. Anyway, team, if you think that you'd love to be on my podcast and have something to contribute, please reach out to me. Or if you know someone who's doing outstanding things when it comes to, a different way of thinking about their organization as a magnetic organization for customers and for great people, let me know that too. I'll be reaching out again in a couple of weeks' time. Stay tuned for some more video content on my socials, thanks to Bianca and Julian, and also for some other little bits and pieces as we go. Have a great run home to the end of September.